Okay, so we're gonna use the layout that we came up with, and you're gonna pick one of the quotes that you made. And so that's what I have here. And let me grab my ruler. I have divided this in half and drawn a line vertically, which I'm going to do it again and make sure that it's darker so you can see it. This paper is not actually 8.5, right? It's a little bit bigger. It's like an eighth bigger than that. So I'm going to adjust. And I'm going to draw same thing down here. And I'm going to draw a little bit darker like I talked about because I want you to see this. I want you to draw as light as you possibly can. Okay, for me, I feel like I can draw lighter by holding my pencil like this, okay, and guiding it so I can draw a lighter line so I don't press as hard. Like, it helps me not press as hard this direction, okay? So I'm going to draw a darker line just so you can see that, okay? And then you can kind of see my layout here. I'm going to get this a little bit darker so you can see it as well. But these are going to go away, okay? So you want to make sure that you're drawing them. I'll show you the difference between like this one and the one underneath it. Okay, you can see like how dark this one is versus this one, okay? And so this banner is not actually going to erase, okay, because we're using that ribbon as part of the design. This one, on the other hand, is going to erase, okay, the outside of it. So it's going to be like it's stuck in an invisible box, right, in that shape, okay? So I'm going to go through, trace these all real quick, a little bit darker. And then talk about the fonts. I'll try and do this fast. It's just sometimes it's never fast enough. And then there's also, something on these that we haven't talked about, this midline right here. When you were in grade school and you were learning how to write, do you remember the paper, how it had like a solid line on the top, solid line on the bottom, and then there was that dotted line in the middle? And this is the same kind of concept. So let me show you like what I was talking about with this. Like this would be our line, and so there's this midline through it which tells us where the lowercase letters are supposed to match up, right? And so some of the lowercase letters go up past that, but lots of them don't. They're all underneath that midline, okay? And so I want to show you this one in particular because it is different and it's like that. So let me put this one up here so you can see it. This is what I am going to try and make my font look like. This is the one that I like. I want both of these together. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right, I have 11 spaces. So I know I'm going to have a space in the middle, and then I know I'm going to have 5 on each side. Okay, so I kind of have to give myself 1, 2, 3, 4, like move them around and try and gauge like where that's going to be to divide it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm a little, I feel like I need to scooch these just a little bit over. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so I have enough for a round, I have enough for like, and I have enough for a space. Okay, and I've attempted to make them all even, okay, where they're equal. I do want to draw like this middle line in there, okay? And so for this one, this goes like up, and then it goes, oops, like back down. Okay, so I'm going to make this a little darker. Is that something you can see up there? Yeah. Can you see it? Okay, sometimes it's, for me, I can't quite see, but I'm a little further. Okay, so I'm going to work with this. And so I'm thinking about that middle line that I was referencing right here, that for this one, all of these letters except the D are going to be underneath there. Okay, and so I'm going to be putting my A in this little section. Okay, and let's see if I can zoom in. So then this will be, if I stay in one area, then you can maybe see a little bit better. So I'm going to try and make my A look like this. This is very round. Okay, it's like almost, it's pretty much a circle. And I could draw that like a circle if I wanted to, and then add my like section right here. But I'm filling up that space and trying to make that just like what I see here. Okay. So then same thing with the R, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to give myself a little gap. Okay, but I'm going to go all the way to that top part. Okay, and pull that down. And then I'm going to fill this whole section over here because I want to see like that whole area filled. This won't be exactly like this font because the box that I'm putting it in is going to distort it, right? It's trying to bring the box up and then the box back over. Okay, so AR, let's fill this one with, okay, and so this would be a complete circle, but this one is going to now be like an oval. Because of that, just like I said before, distorting. Okay, we're going to do a U. And so sometimes it's nice to kind of map out where both of the tops are. You know that they're lined up right there. So I personally, if I'm doing it, that's how I kind of start. This one is going to line up with this, like even. So I'm going to line those up. Next one is my N. Okay, where I have that little piece here, and then I know I'm going to have two right on the edges of the boxes right here. And I'm making them like round and not like sharp on the edges. Okay, let's think. This is an N. Okay, so that's filling it up. The D is going to spill over to this next part. Okay, I'm going to have it fill up this. It is a circle, but again, it is being distorted because of where it is. And the top part's going to angle down. Okay, so that one fills that up. The next one is a space, right? Is that gap. And then I'm going to have my L, which is going to curve at the top. My I is underneath here, but the dot for the I is above it. And I would have it make the same angle that everything else does. The K is going to follow that same kind of section. Okay, and I'm going to have this go like all the way here and then kind of think about what does this look like. Okay, so it's going to the top and then you can erase like those lines. Okay, and it definitely is starting to look like more squished, like it's trying to fit in that box. Okay, and then I've got my E, which I'm going to go ahead and make round. And then kind of think about, because if you look at it, it's pretty much a circle. Think about like cutting out that section. Okay. Okay, so there is what my around like for my quote looks like. Okay, I've measured everything out. I've filled everything in underneath since this was a lowercase font. What I did was make all of these even. And so for some people like that's, I mean, it's good for some fonts, but if you look, there's a big difference between how wide this L is and this I is and like the A and the O, okay? Like there's a pretty significant difference. So if we were to think about this and apply this information to a different font, okay, let's try that with, let's try that with this font, or this one that is confetti, okay? So this one's pretty different, and the I and really the T's are pretty skinny, okay? So I have 8 letters here, so I would be, if I was making these all equal, dividing these in half, dividing these in half again, okay? And I would have like those sections. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to infer and think about this. I want to give myself less space for at least the I, okay? So I'm going to move my boxes and shift these boxes over and give myself some spacing that is not necessarily like equal, okay? It's good for some of the letters, but it's not going to be, the T and the I's are going to have different spacing. Okay, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you'll see how this kind of helps a little bit later. I'm going to still move these over. Just a little bit. So I'm making the spaces for them, but they're not equal, okay? And that's okay. So CONFETTI, okay? So, and then I'm gonna do that middle line as like a reference that will help me see like where I need to go with the middle sections of these words. Okay, so if I'm going through the center of that. Okay, so I just drew like this line right here. Okay, so I'm going to fill this one up and try and copy how this font looks. Every font has something that's like unique about it. And you can see that it's skinnier here. It's thicker on like some of these uprights. And it does have that like highlight. Okay, so I'm going to try and go fast so I can get this all in this 15 minutes. Okay, so I've got my highlight here, and then I'm going to fill this part up too. Okay, and then if you look, this is off-centered, so I have one over here that's going to be, okay, in this position or in this shape. I'm going to bring this up a little higher and then stick that little highlight, okay, in there as well. And then do the same kind of thing, filling up this space, rounding things out, and looking how you can make this font look like what you have picked out. Okay, it gets pretty skinny there, but then this gets a little bit bigger. Okay, this one, you can draw this upright all together and then bring this over and kind of just erase that section. Okay, and then this one looks like this part is like right above, maybe it's a little bigger, right above that midline, okay, for that F. And there's like those highlights that you would see. Okay, and then the E on this one is a little different. And so you just